Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into one of the biggest, most confusing debates in nutrition. Is it better to eat 3 big meals a day or graze on 6 smaller ones? We're going to cut through all the noise and get to what your body is actually trying to tell you.
All right, so here it is. The question we've all asked ourselves at some point. Should we be snacking all day long or just stick to the classic breakfast, lunch, and dinner? It feels like you get a different answer every time you look. Well, today, we're going to settle it by listening to the one source that really matters, your stomach.
And you know, this debate is not new, not by a long shot. The ancient Romans, they were convinced that one single meal a day was the secret to a healthy life. Then, you fast forward to the 1980s, and suddenly a study comes out promoting a diet of 17 snacks a day. 17! So yeah, it's pretty clear we've been obsessed with this question for a very, very long time.
Okay, so let's start by digging into the most popular theory, the one you've probably heard a million times, the argument for grazing. The idea, and it sounds really logical, goes like this. If you keep a steady trickle of food coming in all day, you keep your blood sugar nice and stable. No big crashes, which means no wild cravings that send you running for the vending machine. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? But what happens when we take that beautiful, logical theory and actually put it under the microscope? Well, what the science says might just surprise you.
Okay, so take a look at this, because this is where it gets really interesting. The research basically flips that popular theory right on its head. For most healthy people, studies actually show that fewer, larger meals lead to lower average blood sugar. And get this, the people eating 6 small meals, they actually reported feeling hungrier and wanting to eat more. And that whole idea about boosting your metabolism, turns out it's a myth. Your body burns the same number of calories over 24 hours no matter how you space them out.
So if how often we eat isn't the magic key, then what actually tells our brain to say, okay, that's enough? Well, it really comes down to 2 very specific signals that your stomach sends out.
The very first signal is all about physics. It's the physical stretch. As food fills up your stomach, the walls literally expand. This triggers these tiny sensors that fire off a powerful, immediate message to your brain that says, hey, we're starting to get full down here. The problem with tiny snacks is that they often just don't create enough volume to even trigger this crucial signal.
Now, the second signal is hormonal. And here's the catch. It's on a time delay. As food moves into your intestine, your gut releases hormones that have to travel all the way to your brain. This whole process takes about 20 minutes. And that's why you can finish a huge meal in 10 minutes and feel fine. But then, 20 minutes later, you suddenly realize you're completely stuffed. Your brain just hadn't gotten the memo yet.
And this quote from a major study really just nails it. It basically says that the volume of food in your stomach, that physical stretch, is often what stops you from eating more, not necessarily the calories. Your stomach feels the bulk of the food long before your brain has had time to count all the nutrients.
So what do we do with all this information? It's not about throwing out one set of rules for another. It's really about a fundamental shift, a shift away from following rules and toward paying attention. It's about learning to listen. You know, in Okinawa, a place famous for its incredibly long-lived population, they have a saying for this, hara hachibu. It's a reminder to eat until you are 80% full. The goal isn't to feel stuffed. The goal is to eat until you're just not hungry anymore. That's a huge mental shift, isn't it?
And we can actually put that ancient wisdom into practice with a modern tool, like the hunger fullness scale. It's pretty simple. You aim to start eating when you're around a 3 or 4. You know, you're actually hungry. And the sweet spot to stop eating, it's right around a 6 or 7, where you feel satisfied and energized but not stuffed. We're trying to avoid that uncomfortable food coma feeling up at 9 or 10. It's not a strict rule. It's just a guide to help you listen better. Now, we have to make a really important point here. This is crucial, because while many of us might benefit from fewer, larger meals, for some people, the stomach's plea for smaller meals is a very real, very serious medical necessity. For people with conditions like gastroparesis, their stomach empties much more slowly, so a big meal is just too much to handle. For those with GERD, smaller meals reduce the pressure that causes painful acid reflux. And for something like functional dyspepsia, the stomach is just super sensitive to that stretching sensation. In all of these cases, eating 6 small meals isn't a wellness fad, it's a critical part of managing their health.
So, after all that, where does this leave us? What is the ultimate answer? Is it 3 meals? 6? What's the magic number?
The truth is, there is no magic number. The stomach's real plea isn't for a specific schedule.
It's something much simpler and much more profound. It's a plea for you to just listen.
And getting back in touch with those signals doesn't have to be some huge, overwhelming thing. You can start with these simple steps. Just pause before you eat and ask yourself, am I actually hungry? Try eating without the TV on or your phone in your hand. Slow down a bit, give that 20-minute signal a chance to arrive, and maybe check in with yourself halfway through the meal. These small things can make a huge difference.
So that whole debate over 3 versus 6 meals, it kind of misses the point, doesn't it? The real answer isn't some rule someone else made up. It's about building a better relationship with your own body. It's about tuning out all the noise and just tuning in to yourself. You've heard the science, and you've heard your stomach's plea. The only question left is, are you ready to listen?